All right, we are here with Dave Romney, fresh off the training pitch, 11 on 11 here on the Wednesday before the Saturday opener. You just about done with the preseason right now?
Yeah. So very, very excited to get games going and get started with this.
So, at this point in your career, you've been through this a bunch of times now, getting ready for the season. Is there anything you're doing different at this point in your career to prepare yourself for the 34 games plus that are to come?
Kids this time around. So the last two and a half years now, or 2 seasons with kids. So it's a completely different ball game having to go home and chase around those little munchkins for 5 hours until they go to bed. But doing everything possible before they wake up from their nap. My wife helps in a tremendous amount, and just doing everything I can from 7:30 p.m. till going to bed to just keep my body and mind as good as possible. So it's cutting out a lot of unnecessary distractions, because just don't have the energy for it.
I remember the first road trip I did with the Quakes after I had my youngest. This was back in 2014. He was like, 8 months old at that point. We were in Colorado, and I woke up in the middle of the night because it was too quiet. Did you have that moment?
No, thankfully I've been a really good sleeper, but it was, road trips are definitely a nice reprieve from sleep when the girls are young. They're sleeping through the night now, so we don't really have any sleep issues. But yeah, definitely those first, because they were born in August, so the last 4 months of that season 2 years ago was very, very tough. So I felt horrible for my wife when I was gone, but yeah, it was night before a game to get a very, very good night's sleep is huge. So
yeah, I feel you. Sleep is paramount once you have the kids. All right, so you know how it goes. But let's talk about what's been going on this preseason. Yeah. You've been around this league since 2015. How do you feel about the squad right now?
Pretty good. It's slowly coming together. I have a ton of new faces and a new coaching staff, so it's kind of the players getting used to this different style of coaching and style of play, and then also the coaches getting used to the players. It's fresh eyes on all of them, and so they're kind of trying to feel out everybody, how they fit into the roster, how they fit into the way we want to play. So it's been a lot of changing around the formations, a lot of changing around the lineup, and so it's been a lot of moving parts. It's definitely it's not necessarily like an expansion team, but you are playing against teams who have had continuity for 3, 4, 5 years, and they're just tightening up things here and there in the preseason, whereas we're doing a new system, guys learning to play with each other, speaking different languages across the back line. So it's just getting that familiarity with your teammates and what they like to do on the ball in certain situations. So it's a lot of
the military's coming. So
yeah, a lot of moving parts. But I think you'll start to see, hopefully it can click right away, but I'm sure there might be some growing pains of just how many new faces there are and how different the ideology may be of kind of the style of play or coaching.
How much pressure then or responsibility is there on you, someone who's worked with Bruce before, and you represent one of the veterans on the team who's trying to translate that language to all the other players because you've had the experience, Bruce?
Yeah, it's definitely unique, and just kind of just being a continuation of the coaching staff, and maybe guys aren't used to certain comments here or there, and me just being like, that's totally normal, like nothing to worry about, or like just it's kind of just the way it is. But no, it's been very friendly, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like I just did not answer the question at all. So sorry. But it's the staff is very they kind of talk you through situations, but they're never black and white of like, this was wrong here, you need to do this. It's like, maybe you saw something there, and I got no qualms with that. So just getting guys used to being able to make their own decisions constantly on the field, rather than, we get it right here, I'm supposed to make this run. It's just kind of feeling out what you're doing. And just once guys kind of learn that the staff trusts you, then I think guys can play more free.
If they call you out, you're like, man, I should know this by now.
No, it's all good. And even when somebody does something wrong and we'll look at it in film, the staff will even be like, maybe you saw something there. Like, we're not going to tell you this was the wrong decision because it could have came off and could have been a great play. So we're never going to try to hold any of the attacking players back necessarily on their creativity or kind of how they see the game. It is definitely a little bit more black and white defensively, of tracking a runner here or doing something there. But yeah, guys have the freedom of expression offensively for sure.
How different is the Bruce of 2025 compared to the Bruce that you first met or first played under? I don't know if you met him previously back in 2015.
Pretty similar. I would say his style has definitely lended itself towards veteran teams. And I remember being on the bench in 2015 and being like, I'm the only guy under 30 on the bench. And like, there's only like 3 guys in the match day entire 18 who were under 30. And I was like 21 at the time. So he's constantly had veteran teams where he fully trusts guys who've been in the league or playing soccer overseas for 10 plus years to just make their decisions because they have so much experience themselves. Mm-hmm. And we have a decent mix of it, but it's definitely on the younger side, I feel like, of one of his teams. But I think that's really exciting, and it's good for some of the young players to kind of have that power of freedom and stuff like that.
I was talking to Jamie Watson, who's now with Nashville. Do you remember her now with MLS? You remember him from Nashville? I was telling him how I was excited that you were on the team, and he said everyone talked about how Walker Zimmerman's emergence at that point of his career, but he put a lot of that. He's like, that's because Dave, he said, was doing a lot of the things that allowed Walker to grow in that role. He said people overlooked Dave. Is that maybe frustrating for you to hear, or is it a nice compliment to say, like, yeah, one of the reasons a player like Walker was able to step forward because you were doing everything right next to him?
Both. Yeah. Yeah, I honestly, like, he obviously got more recognition, but he would make really great plays, and he was a good leader, and he would score goals. And I give all credit to Walker. He was a fantastic center back to play with, and he was an amazing friend off the field. So I could speak no like ill will or anything like towards that. As long as I was just getting paid still, I couldn't really complain about.
That's the right answer.
The limelight or anything. I don't really care about any of the media stuff. So as long as I'm putting food on the table for my family and just enjoying what I'm doing and starting, being healthy, playing, that's all I really care about.
What is most important in a center back tandem or trio out there? Is it communication? Is it the way that your games complement each other? What makes it successful? And I guess the other part of that is, why have you been a part of so many successful back lines?
Yeah, I would say both are huge. Communication, obviously. I think having a consistent, open line of communication with your center back is massive. And then I think the way myself and Walker paired really well with each other was I would just tell him, be as aggressive as you can, just step in, win whatever you want, and I'll have your cover. So he would just know, hey, I'm going to take a risk here stepping, and if it doesn't work out, I know he's right behind me. So right. I think if I'm seeing a ball being played to some 10 or 9 and I have to step kind of out of my comfort zone, if I'm kind of worried about a ball getting flicked around and being just completely broken in behind, I might hesitate and then step half a second too late, and that half a second is the difference between me getting there and winning the ball or them actually playing it around the corner. So I think just having that trust with your center back partners, knowing if you're going to step, they're going to slide, is massive to the success when you do take those risks and stuff like that. So I think we had a good relationship there, and it's just getting those lines of communication and trust there with Bruno or Rodri or Max or Reed or Muni, like whoever I'm going to be playing with, and hopefully I'm on the field, is we can get those lines of communication. And then also with the outside backs, the wing backs, just knowing, hey, if I'm sending you, I'm right behind you. I'm not going to send you unless I'm coming with you.
Right.
Just them being able to step with as much confidence as possible is huge. And that takes a while, and hopefully it doesn't take too long, but yeah.
How is it watching Christian Espinosa up close and in training as opposed to having to defend him in the past or be a part of a back line that's trying to stop the balls that he's putting through?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I think one of the most tired games I've ever been a part of was one of the Galaxy versus San Jose at Stanford Stadium. And it was when you guys were playing man-to-man. And so me and Christian were just running up and down the field, because I was playing left back that game. Yeah. He was right wing. So we were just chasing each other up and down the field the entire game, and I was just so spent. So I'm just so happy I don't have to do that anymore.
And what has been your opinion of seeing Hernan up close? Obviously, he's new to the team and came in towards the middle of the season last year, but obviously understands how to play that pocket role.
Yeah, no, really good. Insanely talented. Scored an amazing free kick goal in our last preseason win there. And yeah, the talent oozes out of him. It's just kind of honing that in and just kind of like making those plays on a consistent basis, because talent's unreal. You guys have seen it last year. But yeah.
What about Chicho and Joseph also playing with them?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's as well, just unbelievable talent. Those guys have scored so many goals in the league, and when they're on, you can't stop them no matter how good of defense you're playing. It's just them kind of getting used to each other. There's a lot of like balls where they're checking in, one's leaving it, spinning off, and they're kind of still working on those kind of relationships. But when it clicks, it really clicks. So I'm just hoping for our sake and fans' sakes, it clicks, because it has a good amount of times in preseason, and it's been awesome to see. So I'm sure it will. 5
of the first 7 at home. How important are those first 5 games to take advantage of?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, we want to get off to a good start, especially in this part of the season when we still are learning to kind of play together and get all these things. So it might be hard, but also too, realizing the first 2 games we're playing are against teams that are in CONCACAF. And so we need to take advantage of that as well. With New England last year, we were in CONCACAF for the first 8 weeks of the MLS season, and it completely decimated us. Because we were playing in midweek in Costa Rica, then flying to DC 2 days later and playing in DC away. So we have to recognize that advantage we do have at this point in the season and just come out flying.
You still get either butterflies or nerves or good excitement before opening day at this point in your career?
For sure. And definitely with the new team, it's for sure going to be there. I feel like maybe 50% of game days, even throughout the course of the season, I'll have some nerves throughout the day. And then once the ball kicks off, no nerves anymore. But yeah, I'll definitely have some nerves and stuff going into this game, just playing in front of new fans, and they're being my home fans now.
The fam going to be out on Saturday?
Yeah.
Nice. All right, man. Well, I know you got stuff to do, so I'll let you go, but I appreciate your time, and I'll see you on Saturday.
Thank you.